Today I'm in a fair in Dongguan, Guangdong. I wanted to use the chance to show a little bit about why China is having economic growth in 2020. I think showing a trading show can actually solve a lot of doubts. If China has no cases, then why everybody's wearing a mask? I mean, probably nobody's wearing a mask, right? Actually, no. There is no chance for you to go inside the fair without a mask. If you're a foreigner, you will need to make the quarantine and once you arrive to China, for example. Now, in my case, for example, as a foreigner who has been in China for the entire pandemic period, there is no big deal as long as I provide my Zhenkang, which is the health QR code, just like a Chinese will do. Because most of the cases in the last period are coming from foreigners, they also ask me anyway to register with my signature, name and phone number just in case as a foreigner. Of course, there is not too many people in this kind of situation like me, so it makes sense to make this extra charge. The reason that China managed to solve the coronavirus crisis is because of the strong response that it had, and also because it didn't get out of control in the first place. Now, that would be very hard if you think about it, because this is where the outbreak came from. In that period, we didn't really know too much about this virus, and there could be a lot of mistakes. There have been mistakes, of course, from other countries as well as China itself, but nevertheless, the approach was winning. Even now that there are still few cases coming, the things are going pretty well. For example, in the past few days there was a huge amount of tests only in the city of Qingdao in Shandong, and that's only because there was few people verified with coronavirus, and it was the second time in that city because it's a port city, so they have a lot of shipment as well as a lot of tourists and business people going there. So what they did was basically force everybody to make a test. And that's about 9 to 10 million people. They make 10 million people a test in 5 days. It's documented by some YouTubers who live there, and yeah, it's pretty much went fine. And they found in the end only 12, if I remember, cases in total. And anybody would think, but why in 12 million tests, in 10 million tests, they found only 12 cases? Well, it's because they make the test immediately. It's because they don't let the virus spread in the first place, because everybody is compelled to wear a mask, everybody is compelled to provide the health code, and everybody is supposed to follow the rules at all times. And this helps. If you go around in any city now, you will still hear security, both private and public police force, all speaking on the loud megaphone with the registered voice, which keeps saying, remember to wear the mask, remember to present the health code in case it will be asked at the entrance of a major public office, remember to wear the kojal, the mask, when you're going to the subway or to any transportation. And those reminders are needed because it's not like Chinese people are exactly listening to every single thing you tell them, which actually goes against all those stereotypes that people in the East always listen to the rule. No, it's just that governments in the East make those rules be listened to, and they don't really need to force people to pay ticket every time they found them without a mask. No, they just will ask until you wear it. If you go against the law, of course there will be penalties, but in the majority of the cases, just asking a few times is working. That's also because China, Japan, South Korea, all those countries in the east, also Vietnam, have the logic that it's not fair for one person's own freedom of living without a mask. Everybody else needs to suffer for the virus. And that's why also those kind of politics work here. I don't say that those politics will be needed in any other country instead of everything else that is being tried, because every country has its own path to defeat the virus. Saying that just because China has bigger population, it must have more cases, it's application of logic which has no meaning. It's the amount of people who are present in the country and the amount of people who got the virus can be or cannot be directly proportional, simply because having a lot of people doesn't mean everybody has the virus. But it's much more harder to contain a virus in a country where the population density is pretty high. So I do understand who is worried about this. But on the other side, I still believe that we must give credit that is due. We need to give this credit to all those countries that managed to win, or at least not lose too bad the fight with the virus. And everybody needs to learn how to improve in the fight against the disease, because China was not perfect, South Korea was not perfect, Singapore was not perfect, Japan was not perfect, Sweden was not perfect, the UK was not perfect, the US was not perfect, Italy was not perfect. There is no country in this planet that doesn't have a perfect response. If there was a perfect response, nobody, and I say nobody, would have been dead. And that's pretty much sorted out.